Hi, awesome fourth grade readers. Today we are reading together pages 61 through 70 of our amazing read aloud, the one and only Ivan. Special thank you to our publisher, HarperCollins, for giving us permission to use this for educational purposes. Thank you for giving us permission to read it out loud. We begin on page 61. Remember when we left off, we are learning that there is going to be a new animal addition to the Big Top Mall, and they were guessing or speculating that that animal was going to be a baby elephant. We're going to find out exactly what that is in today's reading. Page 61, guessing. Bob fears our new neighbor will be a giant cat with slitted eyes and a coiled tail, but Stella says a truck will arrive this afternoon carrying a baby elephant. How do you know? I ask. I sample the air, but all I smell is caramel corn. I love caramel corn. I can hear her, Stella says. She's crying for her mother. I listen. I hear the cars charging past. I hear the snore of the sun bears in their wire domain, but I don't hear any elephants. You're just hoping, I say. Stella closes her eyes. No, she says softly. Not hoping, not at all. She knows that if a baby elephant were coming to live there, it probably either was taken from its family or there was a tragedy or something sad that made it so that her family could no longer care for her, or something awful resulted in her needing to be cared for by humans. Page 63, Jumbo. Let's see who Jumbo is. My TV is off, so while we wait for the new neighbor, I ask Stella to tell us a story. Stella rubs her right foot against the wall. Her foot is swollen again, an ugly, deep red. If you're not feeling well, Stella, I say, you could take a nap and tell us a story later. I'm fine, she says. She carefully shifts her weight. Tell us the Jumbo story, I say. It's a favorite of mine, but I don't think Bob has ever heard it. Because she remembers everything, Stella knows many stories. I like colorful tales with black beginnings and stormy middles. Okay, so probably lots of problems in that story. And then cloudless blue sky endings. So he likes happy endings. But any story will do. I'm not in a position to be picky. Once upon a time, Stella begins, there was a human boy. He was visiting a gorilla family at a place called a zoo. What's a zoo? Bob asks. He's a street-smart dog, but there's much he hasn't seen. A good zoo, Stella says, is a large domain, a wild cage, a safe place to be. It has room to roam and humans who don't hurt. She pauses, considering her words. A good zoo is how humans make amends. Stella moves a bit, groaning softly. The boy stood on a wall, she continues, watching, pointing, but he lost his balance and fell into the wild cage. Humans are clumsy, I interrupt. If only they would knuckle walk, they wouldn't topple so often. Topple like this. Ready? I'm going to topple. That's a topple. Topple over. Stella nods. Good point, Ivan. In any case, the boy lay in a motionless heap while the humans gasped and cried. The silverback, whose name was Jumbo, examined the boy, as was his duty, while his troop watched from a safe distance. Jumbo stroked the child gently. He smelled the boy's pain, and then he stood watch. When the boy awoke, his humans cried out, "Stay still! Don't move!" Because they were certain, humans are always certain about things, that Jumbo would crush the boy's life from him. Pause. So the boy has fallen into, they said, the wild cage or the wild domain. That is a spot where another silverback, so another huge silverback like Ivan, lived, and that silverback's name was Jumbo. People were pretty sure that Jumbo was going to kill that little boy, and let's see what happens. Middle of page 65, the boy moaned. The crowd waited, hushed, expecting the worst. Jumbo led his troop away. Men came down on ropes and whisked the child to waiting arms. Was the boy all right? Bob asks. He wasn't hurt, Stella says, although I wouldn't be surprised if his parents hugged him many times that night in between their scoldings. Bob, who has been chewing his tail, pauses, tilting his head. Is that a true story? I always tell the truth, Stella replies, although I sometimes confuse the facts. So think about what you think she means. Does she tell the truth then? Or does she think she is and isn't sure what's a full fact or not? She's using a sense of humor there. Page 67, our chapter is called Lucky. I heard the Jumbo story many times. Stella says that humans found it odd that the huge silverback didn't kill the boy. Why, I wonder, was that so surprising? The boy was young, scared, alone. He was, after all, just another great ape. Bob nudges me with his cold nose. Ivan, he says. Why aren't you and Stella at a zoo? I look at Stella and she looks at me. She smiles sadly with her eyes, just a little, the way only elephants can do. Just lucky, I guess, she says. Pause. Take a moment to think. Does she really mean they're lucky to be at the Big Top Mall? Is she saying that almost like, not sarcasm, but almost like in a way like she's being sarcastic? Like, we didn't get that because we're just lucky. It would be like if a human saw another human in a really fancy sports car they were really excited about, and someone was like, hey, why don't you have that car? And they were like, I don't know, I'm just lucky I get to drive this minivan. Okay, kind of that same thing. Is that what Stella meant there? Just lucky, I guess, she says. Page 68, Arrival. The new neighbor arrives after the 4 o'clock show. When the truck comes lumbering toward the parking lot, Bob scampers over to inform us. Bob always knows what's happening. He's a useful friend to have, especially when you can't leave your domain. So Bob is the source of info. With a groan, Mac lifts the sliding metal door near the food court, the place where deliveries are made. A big white truck is backing up to the door, belching smoke. When the driver opens the truck, I know that Stella is right. A baby elephant is inside. I see her trunk poking out from the blackness. I'm glad for Stella, but when I glance at her, see, she's not glad at all. Stand back, everybody, Mac yells. We've got a new arrival. This is Ruby, folks. 600 pounds of fun to save our sorry butts. This gal's gonna sell us some tickets. That's all Mac seems to be worried about, right? Mac and the 2 men climb into the back black cave of the truck. We hear noise, scuffling, a word Mac uses when he's angry. Ruby makes a noise too, like one of the little trumpets they sell at the gift store. Move, Mac says, but there's no Ruby. Move, says again. We haven't got all day. Inside her domain, Stella paces as much as she's able. 2 steps one way, 2 steps the other. She slaps her trunk against rusty metal bars. She grumbles. Stella, I ask, did you hear the baby? Stella mutters something under her breath, a word she uses when she's angry. Relax, Stella. It'll be okay. Ivan, Stella says, it will never, ever be okay. And I know enough to stop talking. When Stella says it will never, ever be okay, that is a very deep statement that she's making. She's definitely talking about their new guest. She's talking about how she feels about the fact that another brand new baby elephant is going to have to live in captivity, live in small domains, be cared for by a human who doesn't really seem to care a whole lot about the animals at all. They're just looking to make money. Okay, she's saying it will never, ever be okay. Take a few minutes after your reading today to think about what else she might be talking about. Is she referring to anybody else who lives at the Big Top Mall? Is she referring to herself? Okay, why? Why does she say that? Why does she feel that way? It's important as we learn more about the relationships between our characters that we're always thinking about the things that they say and why they're saying it. What is it about their life that makes them feel that way? How can we connect with that? What could we learn from that? Okay, what can we learn about other characters from those kinds of quotes? Thank you for reading with me today. If you need to, you can always rewind and re-listen to today's reading. There is an assignment for you to please do in your Google Classroom. It's a Google form. Thank you for working hard. I am proud of you. I miss you and send hugs. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Have an awesome day.